So Germany is looking for both skilled and non-skilled workers. When it comes to skilled workers, they are majorly looking for IT professionals, doctors, and nurses because of the acute shortage in Germany. When it comes to non-skilled workers, they are looking for Ausbildung candidates. This is actually an excellent pathway for those candidates who want to equip themselves in a skilled pathway where Germany is taking students and then providing them the Ausbildung program, a
Training, you mean with
stipend
Ausbildung
while
and
learning.
training? Yeah.
Yeah, Ausbildung, yes.
Dreamland Deutschland, a podcast for all those who plan to go to Germany, to study, to learn a vacation, to work, to research, or just to enjoy this beautiful country. Is Germany the red hot destination for many youngsters in South Asia? In this podcast, we find out what it takes to make the leap from the subcontinent to this country so far, far away. Is Germany a dreamland, or is the reality somewhat different? Or perhaps it can be a dreamland if we prepare ourselves better for it.
Yeah,
We
okay.
welcome today Arjun to our podcast. Arjun is as of now in Kochi, and he's been working in this field for quite some time and knows what it is like to recruit people who want to go abroad. Now, Arjun, our first question. Germany is proactively looking for skilled workers, yeah, and even people willing to skill themselves. Would you confirm this statement?
Absolutely. So Germany is looking for both skilled and non-skilled workers. When it comes to skilled workers, they are majorly looking for IT professionals, doctors, and nurses because of the acute shortage in Germany. When it comes to non-skilled workers, they are looking for Ausbildung candidates. This is actually an excellent pathway for those candidates who want to equip themselves in a skilled pathway where Germany is taking students and then providing them the Ausbildung program, a
Training, you mean with
stipend
Ausbildung
while
and
learning.
training? Yeah.
Yeah, Ausbildung, yes. So they even get a stipend while learning the program to skill themselves. And this, I think, is an excellent dual requirement from the German government. Yes.
Yeah. How long does this training generally last?
It depends on the program itself. It varies from 2 years to 4 years.
Okay. And then you get a proper degree, kind of a diploma, which
Yeah,
equips you.
diploma or a degree in various streams that they are interested in. And they also get to do the part-time job for which they are getting the stipend. And upon completion, they can become a full-time employee as well. Yes,
As well. And these are professions which are well respected in Germany, unlike India,
absolutely.
where
Yeah,
skilled professions are quite often looked down upon. There, they are very well respected. What
true.
are these specific courses or these specific fields that are being targeted? Like, which fields is Germany? What kind of skilled workers is Germany really interested in?
As you know, Germany is a huge manufacturer of cars. So mechatronic is one of the places where they are being targeted from India.
Mm.
And of course, we usually are actually a number one supplier of staff nurses as well. So they get to look on these nurses as well. And of course, IT, India is a booming place for IT market. So wherever you go in US, be it the Silicon Valley, Indians are the number one. So we are actually also supplying IT professionals as well. So these are the major targeted professionals, I would say.
Now, this initiative to increase the pool of skilled workers in Germany from India, is it industry driven or is the government behind it? Are government agencies involved in any way, or is it a purely private enterprise through and through?
Uh, Good question, but government driven, I would say, because it cannot be completely government driven unless the industry demands the requirement is there, then the government takes the actual initiative. Yeah. So when there is a acute shortage of requirement from the industry side, the government steps in with the requirement and then plans for the next initiation. For example, there is a triple win project which the government of Germany has signed with the Kerala government, with the Vietnam government to supply, a 3,000 nurses in a period of 10 years of time, for example. And they would also bring in, the government, both parties like GIZ is involved, or, the Norca route from the government, Kerala is involved. NSDC, National Skill Development Center, is involved. So all these government, entities come in and work together to supply these requirements, which matches and fulfills the requirement of the industry.
I think the Goethe Centrum or Goethe Institute is also involved as far as
Goethe
importing.
plays a huge role in this, because they are actually the bridging gap between the requirement. So there is a requirement and there is an entity which fulfills, but then the language plays the major role in between. So Goethe is the bridging person for everything. Yeah.
The Goethe is the bridging person. There are these government agencies. What does a company then do, a recruiting company? What is their job?
Recruitment company also plays a crucial role when it comes to matching the right person to the right talent. So industry of course has the requirement, and the government entities plays a role of, and Goethe language company plays a role in terms of bridging the gap, but who is actually going to fit them into the right place? So that's where the recruitment agencies comes in, when it comes to the candidates, finding them, sourcing them, doing the marketing campaign, and making sure the documentation is completed as per requirement. So recruitment agency does play, I would say, like 30% of the entire process.
How do you find people? Do you advertise? Or people come to you because they're so keen?
Uh, it's both ways. For example, if we have good testimonials, I would say a candidate can choose somewhere between a rating of Google rating of 4 to choose an agency, and not just 100 reviews. I would say can at least go for like 400, 500 reviews above. And then we can also look for those agencies which is like licensed by Ministry of External Affairs, and those agencies which prehend or emphasize in transparency, explaining the process up to the start to the end to end process which has been explained properly, and then let the candidate decide whether they want to deal with the agency or not. It shouldn't be a forced decision that one has to deal with this agency. It has to be a comprehensive decision made by the candidate after the agency explains everything to them on a very transparent mode. Yes.
So basically, somebody who's interested, say, in becoming a mechatronics expert in Germany contacts you, and they can look it up in Google and see what kind of a rating you have, and they have to
Yeah.
check whether that company is certified by the Ministry of External Affairs in India,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
only a government approved company is allowed to function in this space.
True.
Yeah.
True.
And you should be check how transparent is the company and how willing to give information, because there
Absolutely.
are a lot of dubious players in the market. Would you
Yes.
agree with that?
Absolutely, because candidates, I wouldn't blame the agency alone. It's the fault of the candidates as well. They are pretty desperate to reach Germany as soon as possible. So, if the process takes 9 months, there is no way that you can bypass this 9 months. But when the candidate gets to know that you can get deployed in 3 months timeline, they are ready to pay and go. So that's where the dubious agencies come in place, where they find that the candidates are willing to pay when they reduce the timeline, and that's when the candidates get scammed as well. So I would humbly request the candidates to make the research on the process, understand the complete process timeline, and then select the agency as well. So prior understanding of entire process is very crucial when you are trying to migrate to a different country. Yeah.
How do you find such an agency? You just Google it.
um Google has many paid campaigns or paid reviews, or I would say even, the listing in the first page also is paid one. So I would say testimonials work a lot. Those candidates who have already traveled, they would have given real-time testimonials of the agencies that they have worked and traveled with.
Yeah. Uh, how does somebody who wants to go to Germany find a good recruiting company?
I think the real-time best way to find is actually testimonials of candidates who have already been travel with, XYZ agency. Yeah. So then these candidates actually serve as the best example to choose the agency. And of course, I wouldn't say to go for any agency with less than 100 reviews. You can take any agency which is rated 4 in Google reviews above and has at least 500 plus reviews from the candidate side. So these two would be the major ways that you can choose an agency. Yeah.
And you get enough candidates, say, as a company?
Depends on the quality as well. We are getting numerous candidates now. Plenty of language institutes have opened up in India, but then quality is actually compromised. So we stick to quality versus the quantity side. And even if we deploy fewer candidates, I think quantity is matter a lot. Yes.
Okay, now suppose somebody finds a good, decent company which checks all boxes. They go through the whole process, that is, and you hold your hand through it, their hand through it, right? When they're learning German, when they're applying for a visa, when they're applying for their permits, you bring employers and these potential employees together. Is that
Yeah.
correct? What I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you do all this hand holding all the time with them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But a big problem often for people is that they go with that's why we call it Dreamland Deutschland, with like these dreams in their eyes. And when they land in Germany, there is a bit of a culture shock and they need help. Do you in any way do any hand holding once they've reached Germany, or is it then that they are on their own after that?
It really depends on the agency that they are going to deal with.
Yeah.
So, as I said earlier, you have to know like until where the agency is going to support you. So,
Yeah.
is it until you take the flight and land there and then they just wash your hands? Or they're going to support you after the landing. So that's when choosing the right agency is going to matter a lot because the very initial step is to land in Germany, but the real process starts
Yeah,
after landing in Germany. Yeah.
that's
Say, for
right.
example, if it is Ausbildung program, you can reach there at B1 level or even as a nurse, as an assistant nurse at B1 level. But B2, you do there. Licensing part of healthcare professionals, you also do there. And when it comes to accommodation, you are in a very new alienated place where agency must provide the support of finding you an accommodation, and there is something called a city registration as well
Yeah.
in Germany, which also is a process that the candidates do not know. And there is a lot of other additional benefits that you need to provide as an agency to support the candidate. I would say 90% of the process starts after the candidate reach Germany.
Somebody who's going to Germany, now you hold their hand through everything when they apply to their potential employers, when they fill up their visa forms and go through that whole process. It is a long and tedious process,
Yeah.
but you hold your hand through the whole thing. But once they land in Germany, how is it then? Is it that from there onwards they're on their own, or do you also support them in these first initial year or maybe 6 months or 2 months? I don't know, whatever.
Yeah. It is again with respect to choosing the agency. This has to be clarified at the very initial stage until which stage the candidate is going to be supported by the agency. Yeah. Say, for example, if the candidate is actually going for a nursing program and the candidate is going to go as an assistant nurse at B1 level, I would say just the 30% of the process is completed in India. The remaining 70% of clearing B2 level in Germany, the nursing exam in Germany, city registration takes place in Germany, and getting the license for the nurses, it's almost a 1.5 year process after landing in Germany is actually pretty crucial. So I would say you must choose an agency which is going to support you until you get your license in Germany or until you get settled for the next 2 years after landing. So that is very crucial. I would say that they have to discuss about this uh, before they choose an agency. Yes.
Now, a young person who wants to go to Germany, yeah, how does he or she prepare themselves for this journey? What are the professional, financial, and also emotional implications there? There are
Yeah.
many
Yeah.
sides
Yeah.
to this problem. It's not just you're
True.
shifting from Kochi to Delhi is quite a thing, but now shifting from Kochi to say Duisburg is a
True.
different
True.
story altogether.
Yeah, it's truly like a Indian biryani. You have to combine all the spices if you want to have a delicacy, right? So when it comes to moving or migrating a different country, it involves professional requirement, which is like, if you're going for an Ausbildung program, you need to be an higher secondary completed student. If you're going as a professional, then you have to have a degree of the relevant criteria.
Arjun, this is not an easy journey, right? From India to Germany, it's difficult even to move within India at times from, say, Delhi to Kochi or Kochi to Chennai or whatever. And when you make this trip from, say, Kochi to Duisburg, It's quite a journey. And what does it mean for a young person? How does he or she prepare themselves professionally, financially, emotionally for such a journey?
Yeah, it is, I think, something to do with making a delicious biryani with all the spices, you know. So when it comes to the moving of or migrating to a new country, you will have to be professionally equipped. For example, if you're going for an house building program, you need to clear a high secondary exam with the B2 level German competency. Or if you want to look for a job, then you have to have a degree with the relevant experience as well. When it comes to the financial part, he or she must be able to self-support for the, maybe a degree admission. Then you should show a block account with the required fund from the university side. And if you're looking for a job, then you need to pay for the initial house accommodation. You need to pay the advance rent, the deposit for the accommodation, whatnot. So there is an initial expense as well, for which the most important spice, the family emotions, come in. So the family must be able to support you throughout this journey, which is a major leg over here. So unless the family supports you to study the program, to study the language, and to see off you for the next 1 year when you're in Germany, I think that's when a person gets to be really successful after landing in Germany as well. Yeah.
Do you think it's a good thing? You would recommend it to youngsters that despite all these problems, they should take the leap?
Absolutely, because it's a place that you want to discover and settle your career in. I think it's the third largest economy in the world, and Germany is a booming economy still, very much growing. It hasn't saturated like other countries, I would say. So if I were in the situation where I'm doing schooling or just coming out of degree college, I would definitely put myself as a first, and I would choose Germany.
So it is a dreamland, according to you.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you very much, Arjun. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Puneet, for this opportunity. Appreciate it.